Standard intro today again? I think so. I think we do. Standard intro for a while, then we'll do the obscure music. uh, uh, I got a vulture in my throat. I forgot to comb my beard before the show. Oh. Got something stuck here. Ouch! Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, man. Hard enough growing it, let alone rip it out. Jesus. Standard intro? Okay. Standard intro. Here we go. Are you ready? What the hell happened here? What the hell? Goddamn tablet. This ain't the Muppet Show, asshole. Your fault. From the WDWL TV multiplex. Live from a waterfall in Hawaii. With great anticipation, we bring you the stars of the station, not to mention the pride of the station. The grumpy old man and the grumpy vulture. Would you like to take your bow? Okay. Are you ready? You're going to do it right? Okay. Take your bow. Line up. Line up. That's it. Banner up. Oh, okay. You only got to wear this for 6 more months. Ho, 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 ho. Back in your spotlight. Straighten the banner. There you go. Move this out of the way. Oh. Look who's first. Again. I'll tell you what. This chair has got to be the best investment I ever made. Oh my God. The more it breaks in, the more comfortable it gets. I could live in this thing. Best money I ever spent. I'm really thinking of buying a second one for Studio One. Although I haven't used that studio in 6 months. I'm redoing it. I've got everything torn apart over there. I went in there and I blitzed it. Everything is all disconnected. Soundboard, interface, monitors, everything. I'm gonna revamp the whole studio, because over there I can plug in both of my Amazon Fire tablets and the LG tablet. I can set up all the sound effects, and actually I could do the way I used to. I'd pop in sound effects all over. A lot of people didn't like it. I was having fun with it, you know. I would make an off-color comment, and then you'd hear a toilet flush, and they were like, "Oh, that's disgusting." I was like, "No, it's funny." Correct me if I'm wrong. Although yesterday when you said different cookies, different places, the more I thought about it, I think the Tangelos were the chocolate peanut butter. For some reason, and the coconut were the Samoas. Those two came to me this morning. I'm thinking the coconut Samoas. I think the coconut were the Samoas, and I think the Tangelos were the chocolate-covered peanut butter cookies, which I loved because it was like they put a tablespoonful of peanut butter on top of cookie and then poured chocolate over it. I don't know why I'm talking about Girl Scout cookies. I can't get any anymore. You would think that they would have a website. You would think you could go in, although, do they? Do the Girl Scouts have a website? Well, look who's here. And the goddamn tablet decided to give you an intro, Jenny. And the tablet decided to stop. It started to play you an intro. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll tell you what. This is the time of the year for it. All the season changes. Everybody. I've got a couple of friends that are down sick. Matter of fact, the one thinks she might end up having to go to the hospital. She's having breathing problems. I says, "Oh, I don't want to hear that." My last friend that had breathing problems got unplugged from life support. Goddamn virus. And I, you know, I'm still amazed. Now, she had the injection and the booster. She catches the virus. I don't know how I didn't get it. Because, like I said, she would come over here after work every night, and we'd sit in the car, talk, and smoke cigarettes. And she had a Ford Focus. It wasn't like we were sitting in the back end of a Rolls Royce. How I didn't come down with it, because I refuse anything with a needle. I had enough needles with chemo, let alone, I'm gonna volunteer to go get one and then go get another. I don't think so. My doctor still bitches at me every time I go in. Have you thought about that anymore? Yeah. I keep thinking no. And it comes up on my chart. You're overdue for your vaccine. Yes, and I will be way overdue. Julie was living proof that the goddamn shots didn't work. For her to get, as a matter of fact, I think she had 2 boosters because she worked in the cafeteria at a school. And it was just before Thanksgiving. I think, I can't remember. She stopped here Monday. And she said, I'm off until after Thanksgiving. I said, okay, if you want to chat, give me a call. We'll sit in your driveway in the car. And then I didn't hear from her. And then 2 days after Thanksgiving, her daughter calls and said, Mom's in the hospital. She's having breathing problems. Well, she had COPD, and her doctor kept telling her she needed to stop smoking. So I just figured, between the smoking and the breathing problems, well, next thing it was the virus. And the next phone call I got from her daughter, she said I had to pull the plug. And I was like, oh, shit. I lost a good friend and was amazed that I didn't come down with that shit. Sounds like food poisoning. Sounds like food poisoning. Or salmonella. Every time you turn around, they're recalling lettuce from somewhere because it's got salmonella in it. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like either food poisoning or salmonella. Have you been to the doctor or the emergency room or a doc in the box? I would either go to the ER or, if you don't like ER, go to the doc in the box if you got a doc in the box around you somewhere. That don't sound like the flu. That sounds like food poisoning or salmonella, or maybe you ate a bad egg. Believe me, if there's anybody that can write the book on sticking your face in a porcelain receptacle, it's me. Get yourself checked out, Jenny. We don't want to hear that this turns into something serious. So, Kathy, did those cookie names sound familiar? Like the Samoas? I'm pretty sure those were the ones with the coconut. And I think the Tangelos were the ones with the peanut butter. And I'll tell you what, whoever makes the Girl Scout cookies They used a good grade of peanut butter. That was tasty. The only problem is there's never enough cookies in the box. You no sooner really get the taste of the cookies in your system when the box is empty. That's why I always had to buy 4 boxes of each. I know I was one of her daughter's better customers because I would probably get, let's see, 4, 8, 12, at least 16 boxes of cookies. At least. But see, if they had a website, I would gladly order cookies. And if they don't, why not? That's their big money maker, once a year, cookie sales. I never even thought to gargle Girl Scouts. I'd gladly order cookies. The dodo. I don't remember dodos. The 2 names that stick in my head are the Tangelo and Samoa. Now, Thin Mints are Thin Mints. And shortbread are shortbread. It was always 4 shortbread, 4 Thin Mints, 4 Tangelos, 4 Samoas. I think one year I ordered 4 of everything on the list. She come over and I says, "You got a list?" I just went 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Here you go. You want money now? Upon delivery. Okay, no problem. She was always glad to see me. Girl Scout cookie time. Oh. Matter of fact, I get an email from her mother. "Are you going to be home Saturday morning?" Yes. Why? "Reese is selling cookies." Good. Although I used to tell her, you don't have to come here. Just mark 4 of everything and tell me when you're going to deliver. She was like, "No, she likes to thank you in person for the order." So they'd come over, Reese would pop in with the list. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Here you go, sweetheart. Oh, I remember when they were 50 cents a box. I remember those days. Oh, yeah. What are they now? $7 a box? And 2 less cookies in each box? Yeah, I can remember going to the grocery store and they'd have a long, like, picnic table set up right as you came in the entrance to the store. Or no, they were at the exit. They caught you before you got out the door. Would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? Oh, why, yes. I'll take 4 of everything. And boy, those little girls' eyes lit up. 4 of everything? Yes. Now see, when my son was in Boy Scouts, actually it was the Cub Scout troop, Kathy, remember Mally's candy? Everybody knows Mally's. The factory's right at the corner of 130th and Brook Park. You can't miss them big pink silos. We used to sell candy bars, and they had the best, Rice Krispie bars. Oh my God, they were out of this world. And I'll tell you the interesting thing about Mally's, we got permission to set up a table at the auto show one year. And we were there every night. Mally's delivered $3,000 worth of candy bars on my okay on the phone. I never signed a thing. They backed up to the loading dock at the auto show and unloaded $3,000 worth of candy bars on a handshake. And then in the middle of the week, I had to get $3,000 more. And the candy bars were $1 a piece. And Mally's got 50 cents, and the troop got 50 cents. And we sold, oh my God, it was $7,000 worth of candy bars at the auto show that whole week. Because I was there every single night. And rarely did somebody walk by and say no. Because we had all them cute little Cub Scouts in uniform. Would you like to buy a candy bar? And their Rice Krispie bars, oh God, to die for. I bought a case just for myself. I had heard that they did that, and I didn't believe it. And I called Mally's, and I said, we tentatively have a booth at the auto show, and we would like to sell candy bars, but we're not going to get the booth until we know we have product. And Mally said, how long are you going to be there? I said, the whole week of the show. They says, okay, we'll meet you at the loading dock. I know it was like 3 p.m. or something, but the show that night opened at, I think, 5. So the truck backs up to the dock, and we're unloading boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. And like, so the guy hands me the bill of lading, and he said, I need you to sign the bill of lading. I looked at the bill of lading and said, $3,000 worth of candy bars. And I was like, whoa. And then Wednesday, we had to order another $3,000 worth. And then Sunday, we were really low on candy bars, so I ordered another $1,000 worth. We sold everything. And then Monday I had to go settle up. Well, it was nice having that pile of money in my hands. But it made the troop good money. You know, we got half of that $7,000, $3,500, bang, right into our account. And basically, we didn't have to have any other money drives for a year. Because, like, if you go out to the Boy Scout camp, I can't remember where it was at. It wasn't that far from here. I think Wellington, but I'm not sure. That was all free. And the troop had all of its tents and everything. Those were donated by the National Guard. Donated us a couple of tents and cots and all kinds of shit. The only expenditure we had was the locker we had to rent to store all that shit. And we even got a break from the you store it place for being scouts. One of these days when I come back from my doctor's appointment, I'm going to swing into Mally's. And I'm just going to ask them, do you still just ship candy on somebody's word? I didn't have to give no credit card number or nothing. They just brought $3,000 worth of candy. But their Rice Krispies bars, like I say, I bought a case for myself. And they were 50 cents a bar back then. No, they were, we sold them for $1. I think they were $1. But they took 50 cents. I can imagine that candy bar is probably like $3.50 today. And it probably isn't as big. But yeah, they got them 3 big pink silos. One says milk, one says sugar, and one says cocoa. And you can't miss them right at the corner, right across from Spitzer, Jeep Chrysler, that's it, Dodge. Used to be Plymouth. That disappeared. Didn't I like this? Really? Wow. I know where, I know the area. I'm trying to think where the Boy Scout camp was. It was only like maybe a 40-minute drive from here. I want to say Wellington, but that don't sound right. Wherever. It was fun. Because we would go out twice a year. We would go out in the summer and we would camp in tents. And then we would go out in the fall and they had a cabin. And the only, first of all, you had to make sure the cabin was clean when you left. And the only thing you needed to really bring besides your food and that was firewood. Because there was a wood burner in the dorm where everybody slept, and there was a fireplace in what you'd call the living room. And you had to bring your own firewood, and then you had to make sure the place was clean when you left. I used to have fun. It was great. I think I had more fun than, well, the adults had more fun than the kids. Because after all the kids went to sleep, we'd have some cocktails. I don't know if we were really allowed to bring that stuff, but we did. Made the camping weekend a lot of fun. And then up the road was a little mom and pop bar. As we kind of take a trip up there. I can't remember where the hell it was at. I know it was maybe a 45-minute drive at the most from my house. And I'm right at 130th and 71. The days of Boy Scouts. Although, you teach them kids all, how to make a fire and how to splint a broken arm. And I don't think any of them remember that shit. Because the scouting office, trying to think where the hell the scouting office is. I had been there over on the east side somewhere. It's been too many years. Because we would take the kids to the scouting office, and they have a book, and it lists every Eagle Scout from like 1899 or something. And you go through the book, and every year it's fewer Eagle Scouts and fewer and fewer and fewer. You mean to tell me the Girl Scouts didn't go camping and make campfires by rubbing a couple of flints together to make? Oh, yeah, they used to have to take a stick and shred it so that you'd have something to start the fire. It was no fair cheating with paper. You had to shred a stick. And you took that little pile of shreddings, and then you had two flints. And then when a spark would start to ignite, you had to slowly, And then once that started burning, then you piled the logs around it. You had to have the logs like a chimney. We'd go hiking and fishing and taught them how to shoot bow and arrow. Whew. They were a little dangerous with those. Aim at the target there, boys. Don't be turning around with that thing. You'll be shooting one of the consulars. Get one of your fathers in the ass with an arrow. Oh, yeah. The sash. So your badge is on your sash. Yeah, they did have some neat stuff. We did, you don't appreciate it at the time. Now you look at those badges, you're like, wow, they were pretty classy. They were about the size of a 50-cent piece. Those were the days. Now you mention scouting, and kids are like, eh. I bet without researching it, I bet half of the troops that we had back in 1990 no longer exist. I would tend to think because you don't even hear about scouting anymore. I know there would be scouting week, and somebody from the scouting office would visit the schools and sign prospective kids up. I don't know if they have that anymore. I'm sure they don't have a texting badge for scouting. Oh, look, I have an Instagram badge, and I have a Facebook badge, and I have a texting badge. How do you use a compass? Well, you just GPS on your smartphone. No. I'm sure that's the way it is today. I have to learn to use that thing? Oh, no, I got GPS on my phone. What do you do if you're out in the woods? Well, I bring a solar-powered charger so I can charge my smartphone. Yeah. I'm sure that's the way it is. What do you mean we're going camping and I can't bring my cell phone or my headphones? Oh, I can't survive. Are you ready for the shirts? I got 2 of them today. 5 more on the way. You'll see my sick humor. Let me move the mic out of the way and grab them. Move the mic out of the way. Okay, here we go. Here's shirt number 1. You can't fix stupid, but you can numb it with a 2x4. Okay, sick humor time. Last responder. What did I knock over here? Oh, come on. Now what happened to the... phone does that. Decides to shut itself off every now and then. And it's just the LED that shuts off. I don't know why. I mean, the mic works, but I like... the chemo one, that one is... I'll wear that one to my oncologist appointment. I think I'll wear the last responder one to my primary care doctor. And then, well, I got 2 more coming tomorrow. Possibly 3, but definitely 2 more coming tomorrow. I'll wear 1 to each doctor appointment. I ordered them a little bigger because I anticipate them shrinking a little bit. Now watch, they'll be true to size and they'll really screw with me. When I get all 7 of them, I'm going to wash them. Because it never fails when you get black shirts. You end up with black skin. Those 2, I think those were $3 shirts. And they're really good quality. That's what you would think for $3, they're crap. Although they start at like $16 and the $20 range. I got them on clearance. Oh, I like that. Yeah, who are these kids and why are they calling me Mom? I bet you they really, I was going to say, bet that pissed them off. You're not going to wear that shirt? Yes, I am. And I'm going to wear it in the mall. Today it's like, what's a mall? Tear all the goddamn malls down. We used to have, we had Eastgate, we had Southgate, we had Southland, Westgate, Randall Park. That's a shame, that mall. God, I was there the opening week. That mall was huge. But of course the kids screwed it up. The gangs were hanging around there and people were afraid to shop. Okay. Wasn't Southgate the one that had the Christmas parade with, what was his name, Ted Knight. And the big thing was the Santa button. Wasn't that Southgate? I'm pretty sure it was Southgate. Southgate, USA, yeah. They would have the Christmas parade, and Ted Knight from, what was it, WKRP? He would come in, he would be Chief Hoo-Ha of the parade, Grand Marshal. And then they tore that mall down. But wasn't that the one that was built on the landfill and they were having methane gas problems? Yeah, I remember they made a big deal out of the parade. Now, was his name Ted Knight, or was that his name on WKRP? But I remember he was Grand Marshal of that parade for years. And they would give away a Santa button. You got the Santa button. Oh, oh, oh. I remember the commercials. Southgate, USA. Yeah, but was his name Ted Knight? Or was that his WKRP name? He was Ted Knight on WKRP. What was his real name? I used to have one. I lost it. Because it was about this big. The Santa button. This is the button I wear. It says, I survived the great toilet paper crisis of 2020. Okay, I'll let you gargle it. Gargle WKRP and I know he was Ted Knight on WKRP. I can't remember if his first name was Ted for real. All I remember was, oh man, people would go crazy every year. He'd show up at that parade, they'd be like, hey! Of course, you know, WKRP in Cincinnati, a show that took place in Ohio, supposedly. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there is a real WKRP in Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure that's a real station. Yeah, I remember I had to go out to the parade one year. My kid wanted to go get a Santa button and meet Ted Knight. And I'll tell you what, he was the most personable guy. You know, you would figure TV star, you know, parade's over, I'm out of here. Oh, he'd hang around and talk with people, and he made that parade worthwhile because after the parade, he'd mingle with everybody. And then I'm pretty sure that was the mall that was built on a landfill, and they were afraid there was going to be a methane gas explosion. And they closed that mall and tore it down. And if you drive past that property today, it's got vent pipes all over the place to vent the methane. Yeah, they learned a tough lesson. Don't build on top of landfills. Or let the landfill cure very well before you build. Yeah, good old Southgate. I used to go to Westgate. Oh, God. I can picture him. I can picture him. Oh, gee, what was his name? I can picture him. I love that program. I watched it all the time. I can't remember what either what was before that or what was after it. Because I would watch that, I think, for the program that came on after it. But it was hilarious. I enjoyed the program. Didn't they do some goofy stunt with frozen turkeys? For some reason, frozen turkeys sticks in my mind. They dropped them off a building or something. Okay, yeah, the farm report. Well, there's a lot of farm country down in southern Ohio. I wonder if it's in reruns. I'm going to have to. There's one channel. It's a freebie channel. And they got all the old programs, and Gunsmoke and Death Valley Days. And yeah, what did they do with the turkeys? Did they drop them off a building or something? I remember the frozen turkey shit. I don't know if they launched them out of a cannon or they dropped them off a building. There was something with the frozen turkeys. And was that what it was? On Timu, in the sign section, there is a sign that WKRP in Cincinnati, and it's something about the frozen turkey drop or something. If it's available, I'm going to buy it because it's an 8x11 metal sign. Oh, some of the wacky shit that program did. That's what made you coming back every week, because what were they going to pull? You know, how were they going to outdo last week? And Ted Knight was always such an idiot. Yeah, I'm going to have to see if it's in reruns. Good old WKRP in Cincinnati. See if. Do you have some way of Googling to see who the stars were? Because now you got me going. Who was Ted Knight? God, I should remember, especially after going out to Southgate and meeting him. Of course, he was Ted Knight. Because he used to pass out, well, everybody passed the Santa buttons out, but it meant more if you got one from him. I made sure that the Santa buttons that we got were from him. And I think we lost them all. You can only keep so much shit, you know. But that was the big draw, to see him and get the Santa button. Southgate played that Santa button up. God, there were commercial after commercial. The parade is in 3 weeks, you know. Make sure you get your Santa button. This is what makes it worthwhile, because we both know the area. You can picture it. You were there. Now it's a vacant lot with a bunch of pipes sticking out of the ground. Yellow pipes with hazmat symbols on them. Yeah, they bulldozed that whole everything. Bulldozed everything. That whole mall gone. And Randall, man, me and my neighbor, of course it was, you know, me, the other half, my son, my neighbor, his couple of kids, we all went out that opening week to Randall. And it took forever to get in there because everybody wanted to go see Randall. Because it was 2-story. It was one of the few 2-story malls in Ohio. Now, I'll tell you the scary thing. I was out to the mall out in Strongsville. That's its name? I like Ted Knight better. God, I never knew that was his name. Everybody knew him as Ted Knight. I'm trying to think of the mall's name out in Strongsville. That mall is scary. Because when you get on the second level of that mall, you can feel that building sway. When it's got a crowd of people in it, like Christmas shopping and that, you can feel that building sway. I was out there once because I thought I was imagining things. And I said to my buddy, I said, is this building moving? And he said, yeah. I said, let's go back down to the first floor. Now, I don't remember Randall swaying, but the mall out in Strongsville, right off of 71, I can't remember the name of the goddamn mall. But when that mall has a shitload of people in it, you go up on that second level, and you can feel that building sway. I was out there once. That's it. One time. I don't want to be out in no mall that's going to sway. Now it might be the building. It might be built that way to accommodate, because Ohio has had a couple of earthquakes, not like California, but we have had a couple. I remember when we had one of the first earthquakes that registered in Ohio. I worked at an office that was out by the Ford plant in Brook Park. And we felt the building shake. And I thought maybe the Ford plant blew up. I was on the phone with a guy in Toledo. And I no sooner felt the ground shake, and I told him, I said, hey, goddamn ground shaking. And about 15 seconds later, he said, holy shit, it's out here. So between Cleveland and Toledo, we felt it. Uh-huh. Good old Gargle. Gargle comes through. Was Southgate kind of a regular place where you would shop? Being out in that side of town? Was that your mall of choice? Or did you have a different mall of choice? Yeah, see, you were at Southgate, and I was at Westgate. And they were owned by the same corporation, Southgate and Westgate. And Eastgate. The three gates were owned by the same corporation. Southgate, Eastgate, Westgate. I'd never been out to Eastgate. I was out to Southgate for the parade, but I preferred Westgate. Now they tore Westgate down, and they built, it's just a line of stores. No mall. They tore the mall down to build stores. That's where Lowe's is. Which I don't really, well, Lowe's is too expensive. The Homeless Depot is cheaper than Lowe's. Although Lowe's has a better gardening area than Homeless Depot. At least the one up for me. They don't have a big, huge... Although if I really want, I'll go to Petiti's. But Petiti's, you got to have a golden American Express card. There ain't nothing cheap about Petiti's. When I used to get all my heirloom tomato plants, I used to go down on Canal Road. There's a nursery down on Canal. And the one year I couldn't get in there because of the flood. They were cleaning up after the flood. Now, luckily, the nursery is up high enough, the floodwaters didn't get to it. But unfortunately, the road was like that deep with silt and mud. So I had to make a second trip. The only good thing about Petites is their stuff is 1,000% quality. The few times I bought stuff from Petites, it was quality. But you do pay a price. And see, unfortunately, they're one of the few places that carries just about every strain of decorative grass. And I want to get for my front yard, I can't remember the name of it, but this decorative grass grows like 10 foot high. Because I'm slowly tearing my shrubs out and replacing it with decorative grass. But the one, God, I can't remember the name of it. But I know it grows 10 foot high because one of my neighbors has it. And it's neat when the stuff, especially when it gets the big plumes on top. Oh, I want bamboo too. I had bamboo up at my other house. And the only problem is, bamboo can go crazy on you. And the year I got thrown out, I had bamboo coming up everywhere in my front yard. Everywhere I looked, there were bamboo plants. Well, look at this, a new name. Welcome to the chat. It's nice seeing a new name. Yeah, I wish I could have dug some of that bamboo up when I moved down here. Because the landlord bulldozed everything. Now, I had one, it was about maybe 18 inches in diameter. I had one like thicket of bamboo in the front yard. And everybody kept telling me, oh, that stuff can go crazy on you. I'd be like, eh. The third year, it did. It was, everywhere you looked in the front yard, there were bamboo shoots coming up. I wish I could have stayed there because I'd have ended up having the whole front yard in bamboo. But I could not believe the whole lawn, that one thicket, like overnight, sent out runners everywhere. But bamboo is something not every nursery carries. I guess I'm going to have to go on a safari for bamboo because I want to plant some again. because it was kind of cool for 3 years. It stayed in that one little circle. And then come spring of the following year, I was starting to see shit coming up all over the place in the front yard. I was like, man, I hadn't known it was spread that fast. I'd like to get some that, would end up growing like that big in diameter. Make me some furniture. Or some fishing poles. I remember back growing up, everybody had a bamboo pole. I think tomorrow I'm going to start calling nurseries. Maybe I'll start with Petites. You have bamboo? No? Okay. I'll call the one down on Canal Road, see if they have it. Somebody told me there's a nursery out in Rocky River that carries it all the time. Well, yeah, that used to be a big thing back growing up. Everybody had a bamboo fishing pole. Because all you needed was string and a hook and some worms. Maybe a bobber. Bobbers were for cheaters. You were supposed to watch the end of the pole. If the end of the pole went, whew. I remember my grandfather had like a dozen of them. We'd go fishing. He'd have them tied to the roof of the car. Bamboo comes in all kinds of colors now? Really? Now I have to do some research. If bamboo comes in multiple colors, I have to do some research. Yeah, I was a cheater. My tackle box was full of every size bobber made. I'd be fishing, I'd have 3 or 4 bamboo poles. And then you always had to find a tree limb so that you could cut it so you had something to stick your pole in. You'd be in the woods looking, okay, I got me a little Y. Set it down. Watch your bobber. I always had 3 or 4 poles going at the same time. That was the fun time. Grandpa'd call and say, hey, you want to go fishing tomorrow? He'd pull up in his Nash Rambler with bamboo poles tied to the roof. Because you couldn't get them in the car, you couldn't get them in the trunk. Then we'd go out to, what the hell was the name of that place? It was out off of Route 18. Crystal Lake, I think it was called. It was off of Route 18 by Akron, Crystal Lake. Yeah, we used to go out there. Man, oh, the memories now. Wow. Good old Crystal Lake. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, man. That was our fishing hole. And that was before freeways and everything. Had to take all the back roads. I guess I'll have to research and see if Crystal Lake is still there. Knowing the way things are today, they probably bulldozed it and built a housing development. Because I'll never forget the one time we were out there, my grandmother hooked a goddamn snapping turtle. It came just barely out of the water. It was a pretty good size. That goddamn thing was hissing. My grandmother was screaming. My grandfather thought she was getting killed. We run over there, here's this ugly old moss-covered fucking snapping turtle. He ended up cutting the line. Yeah, see, if he didn't want to drive out to Crystal Lake, we would go down in the Met Park over here and fish in the river. With Crystal Lake, you'd make a day of it, yeah. Man, memories. Good old memories. Definitely good times back then. Kids probably don't even like fishing nowadays. God, I'd look forward to it like, oh boy. I'll never forget when Grandpa bought me a little tackle box. Had an assortment of hooks in it, assortment of bobbers, couple of reels of fishing line. It was about that big, little thing. He even, God, I was like 7, 8 years old. He even bought me a short bamboo pole. I had a little short bamboo pole and a little tackle box. Then we'd stop at the bait store. Red worms. He always used to like red worms. Give me a couple of containers of red worms. And maybe a container of night crawlers. Oh boy. A hunter? Oh ho ho ho. Really? Wow. Unreal. Girl you don't want to mess with. Someone that knows how to use a rifle. Don't piss her off. You get a 30-06 between the eyes. Does she hunt like deer? Don't tell me squirrel. Come on. Deer? Holy shit. Good for her. Holy Christ. Does she know how to dress them down too? Did she go out for turkeys in the fall? Get one for Thanksgiving? Oh, there's a girl I don't want to mess with. She knows how to use a rifle. She could make a body disappear. Head's over there. One of the arms is over there. Torso's over here. No turkeys. Well, hey, the deer meat, I was never really a big fan. I'd eat it. The one thing my father could really make was deer stew. He would make a deer stew that I would really eat. Because my uncle every year used to hunt. Anytime he'd get a deer, he'd share the wealth. I was never a big fan. I'm not big on something that tastes gamey, you know. Because my uncle would go duck hunting too. Nothing worse than a gamey, greasy duck. Holy shit. And she's still single? God, you'd think some guy'd grab her for a real catch. She hunts, she fishes, she knows how to field dress her own meat. That's a rarity nowadays. Where did she learn all that? Is that the younger one? You probably mentioned that. I probably didn't catch it in the chat. And she's probably one of them prissy office girls. Something you would never suspect. Makeup, dress, high heels. Then the next weekend, camo, face paint, rifle, holding a deer head. Oh! All right. God damn, good for her. Man, firefighter that goes hunting and knows how to dress out an animal. Cool. That's one to be proud of. Unbelievable. That's cool. I bet your mom's proud of that one. Although mom probably would like her to get her own place. You got them both living at home, don't you? Does the older one like to hunt or no? Oh, they're not both living at home? I thought you said they were both there. Which one's home, the younger one or the older one? Well, if the younger one's the one that's living at home, you don't have to worry about a burglar breaking in. I hear somebody out back. Got him. I'll have him field dressed in about an hour. Oh, the older one. Okay. That's cool. Oh, okay. Now is that a full-time fire department down there? I know in some areas they still have volunteers. I know when my neighbor was down in Virginia, the area that she was in was volunteer. Because her neighbor, his son, was a volunteer fireman. And the first one to the firehouse was the one that had to warm up the fire truck. Because they had, well, EMS was volunteer too. And she told me that when they would have a call, they'd set off a big goddamn siren, like an air raid siren. And then you'd see all the volunteers heading to the fire department. Well, that's cool. That is cool. Yeah, you got one to really be proud of there. Not that many females can come through the fire academy. That's more brutal than the police academy. Because I know my two brother-in-laws were in the Cleveland department. And you had to drag that like 150-pound dummy so many feet, and you had to go up and down a goddamn ladder in so many minutes. Because the training academy is downtown. Before 9/11, you used to be able to go down and watch them train. Not anymore. You're not allowed on the property. The older one's prissy. Oh, okay. You got one of each. One that comes in in makeup and a dress, and another one comes in camo and face paint. Oh yeah, that's almost like the police academy with the mace, the mace room. They mace you down, and you have to go in this room, and then you gotta write something on a notepad or some shit. You can't even open your fucking eyes. Then you come out and they douse you with gallons of water. Because I'm trying to think. At the fire academy, I remember my brother-in-law talking about smoke training, and you were in this fucking big room full of smoke and they yank your mask off and you gotta crawl around the floor to find your way out. Then you had to raise a ladder in so many seconds. Or yeah, fire academy is brutal. I've heard. So the smoke room is there. You go in with your mask and then somebody yanks it off you, and then you got to get out. That would be brutal. Well, that's cool. That is cool. Good for her. Tell her I approve. She's got 2 thumbs up. The next time you see her. She got her car all outfitted with lights and siren. Like mine. I already have plans for the Passat if I get it. I have 1 spare light bar downstairs. I gotta fix it though. One day, I had it mounted on the RAV4. And I didn't have it mounted right. Now, driving around the neighborhood, no problem. I'm going down the freeway. I didn't hear nothing. Next thing, a state trooper is pulling me over. I'm like, shit, I wasn't speeding. And I pull over. He comes up to the door. He said, did you lose something? No, not that I know of. He said, you want to step out of your car? Okay. I step out of the RAV4, and what's hanging off the tailgate but my goddamn Federal Vista bar. Luckily, the wiring harness held it, but it went right off the back of the car, was hanging off the tailgate. I didn't even hear it. I finally managed to get it in the back seat. And then when I got home, I unwired it and took it down the basement because it needed some repair. And then I put the other one on the RAV4 and bolted it down nice and tight. So I got to repair the other one because that one's going to go on the Passat if I get it. And I already got a siren. I use it for the air horn. You can get a police siren and speaker off of Temu for about $40. It's unbelievable the shit they sell. This is getting to be a nightly thing. Someone's at the door. God damn it. And there's a sign. Holy shit. Every goddamn night. Okay. Marianne, sugar cookies, and they're about that big. Oh boy. Last week, chocolate chunk. Tonight, sugar cookies. They're huge. Oh my God. And still warm. We know what we're having tonight. Cancel the coconut cookies tonight. Sugar cookies. She goes, I'm sure I just bothered you, but I wanted to bring them over while they were still warm. I said, that's okay. We needed a commercial break anyway. God damn. They gotta be that big around. They're huge. And then she takes a fork and she makes a design on the top and sprinkles them with sugar. I was all set to bitch. Good thing I look out the door before I whip that door open. Oops. Yeah, she goes, I'm probably bothering you, but I wanted to bring them over while they were still warm. That's okay. There's got to be a dozen and a half there. A little box. She goes, I made too much dough. Well, that's okay. Anytime. Like them chocolate chunk cookies. Holy shit. There were chunks of chocolate in the size of quarters. She can bake. Oh. I keep dropping a hint for zucchini bread. I guess I'm going to have to go to the farmer's market and buy some zucchinis and go, look what I found. I know, you only need like a cup. I'll bring her some big zucchini about like that. Here. Now, I take zucchini and I slice it. Well, I skin it because the skin's a little bitter. I slice it into circles. I dice up onions. And then I fry it in bacon grease. Mm-mm-mm. Now Marianne takes and she breads it. Every now and then she'll bring me over breaded zucchini. Because she's one of them vegetable-itarians. I don't know how someone could give up meat. I really don't. I don't get it. And she's like 30 years. You know, my aunt used to make stuffed zucchini. She would take a zucchini and core out the center where all the seeds are. And she would fry Italian sausage and onions and green pepper and then she would stuff that in the zucchini and then bake it. And oh my God. To die for. But I like to slice it and fry it up with onions and bacon grease. Bacon grease adds that extra touch. I'm definitely going to pick up a zucchini and drop it off and see if Marianne gets the hint. Because she hasn't made zucchini for about a year. She usually makes it like around Thanksgiving. Maybe that's because, Thanksgiving is harvest time. Oh, them cookies smelled so nice. I opened the box. And she won't take nothing. I'll say, oh, come on, Marianne, you had to buy all the ingredients. Today, I made too much, like usual. Well, that's okay. My stomach will enjoy them tonight. I'm going to have to ration them out. I think I'll do that like maybe 4. Because if I take the whole box, it'll be gone. Especially nice warm, right out of the oven. And all of her stuff is from, dead ass scratch. She was so meek at the door. I know I'm bothering you. I made too many. I looked at the box and went, oh, sugar cookies, huh? Thank you. Yeah, now I have a big drape on my door. I have it kind of slid back a little bit so I can peek out, see who's standing there, because I've got a, what the hell kind of light that is? Motion sensor. So as soon as you walk up, the light goes on. I can see who it is. And she was standing there. I'm definitely going to parcel them out because I know I'll eat that whole goddamn box. Them cookies are huge. Like the size of an ashtray. Jeez. They're so big she could only probably get maybe 4 on a cookie sheet. Well, that just makes the coconut cookies last longer now. Oh, damn it. I wanted to go up to Circle K today. I forgot. I've had a taste for Lawson's Chip Dip. And Circle K is the only one that carries it. Oh, speaking of chips, do you guys get these Utz chips down there? UTZ, Utz, Oots. Our stores have just started carrying them recently. Because usually we get Lay's. And the other day, they had Utz or Oots on sale. I've never seen them in the store before. Well, you're not missing anything. If your stores get the Utz potato chips, don't bother. Because I'll tell you what, these things are so fucking greasy that you could grease an earth mover with a goddamn bag full. Oh, they're the nastiest chips I've ever had. Utz, 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 Oots. Well, I was like, oh, competitor to Lay's. I got a bag of regular. I start eating them, and I'm like, damn. Greasiest goddamn chips. Oh, nasty. Matter of fact, I think I ate half the bag and I threw the other half away. Yeah, UTZ. Oots, Utz. Well, I'll tell you what. If you ever see them in your stores down there, you ain't missing nothing. Walk right by them. Because they are the greasiest goddamn chips I have ever had in my life. I mean, like Lay's was like $3.79 for a bag, and Utz was $2.25 or something. I was like, oh, a little competition to Lay's. So I bought a bag of regular. They were nasty. Nasty. So, if they ever end up in your part of the country, don't waste your money. Do you have Circle K gas stations down there? Although, with the plant being here in Akron, they might not ship that far. Yeah, see, it's odd that a gas station, although they're food stations you can buy gas at, But they bought the rights. As a matter of fact, they bought the factory. So Circle K carries Lawson's chip dip. And I've had a taste for Lawson's chip dip, and I keep forgetting to go up there. God, it's not that far from me. Like 10 minutes. Up 140th over the bridge to Triscuit, bang, right there. And I keep forgetting. Note time. Note time, while I'm thinking of it right now. Lawson's chip dip. Lawson's chip dip. Going right here next to where I put my cell phone. Note time. Tomorrow. Hopefully they have the big container. I'll get 2. That way I can eat it with a fucking spoon. I'll tell you what. There's nothing better than putting that on a baked potato. Oh, get a nice baked potato, put some butter, some chives, maybe some shredded cheese, and then a big scoop of Lawson's chip dip. A meal right there. I could make a meal out of get a couple of nice sized baked potatoes, butter, chives, shredded cheese, bacon bits, Lawson's chip dip. A meal. You know another thing I put Lawson's chip dip in? Beef stroganoff. When I make beef stroganoff, instead of sour cream, Lawson's chip dip. Oh, does it kick the flavor of beef stroganoff? Oh, I haven't made that in a while. I think I'll tell you what, try it sometime. Make some beef stroganoff and substitute. Well, you can't get Lawson's chip dip. Too bad. But that's all. Matter of fact, I did that by accident. Because I make beef stroganoff and I forget to buy sour cream. And I just happened to have a container of Lawson's chip dip. And I was like, oh, well, we'll give it a try. Put it in. Oh my God, does it? It kicks beef stroganoff out of this world. Anything that calls for sour cream, Lawson's chip dip. Well, unless you're making a sour cream cake. Nah, I don't think it. But beef stroganoff, baked potato, Yep. Sauerbraten, Oh my God. Now that's a feast right there. That's a feast right there. Like I say, anything you would dip sour cream in, dip in sour cream, Lawson's chip dip. I have experimented with more things with Lawson's chip dip, believe me. Whoever came up with that recipe was amazing. And, it disappeared because when Lawson's, they changed, they turned into Dairy Mart. Dairy Mart bought Lawson's out. And Dairy Mart carried Lawson's chip dip. Well, then Dairy Mart went bust. And Lawson's chip dip vanished. And how Circle K bought the plant in Akron, I don't know. I know there was a big outrage. People were writing, Hey, where's our chip dip? Because the plant, well, they produced milk and that down there, sour cream, yeah. But they had quit making the chip dip. And I don't know how Circle K, being a gas station, or convenience station, they call them, how they made the deal to buy the plant, because it's odd. You know, basically a gas station carrying Lawson's chip dip. But thank God they brought it back. And from someone that grew up on it, it is the original. Because I remember the first time I tried it. Because I even said to the manager at Circle K, I said, I'll know if this is the real chip dip. I said, because I remember this back to 5, 6 years old. I grew up on this stuff. And he said, it is. I said, well, I'll know. The next time he saw me, I had 2 big fucking quart containers. He goes, oh, I guess it's the real thing, isn't it? I said, oh, yeah. Yeah, you can get the half pint, the pint, and a quart. And I get 2. If they've got the quarts, I get them. Because it don't last long around here. I just have to remember, don't eat Lawson's chip dip if you've got to go for blood work. My doctor go bonkers. He'd go bonkers if he knew I was eating cookies in bed. Yeah, lay there and watch interrogation videos, eat my cookies. And having my cat give me a massage. He is a trip. Every time he gets back into bed, you got to get in the armpit. And last night, I didn't think he'd ever stop. I go, Jesus, come on. And the intense look on his face when he's... But he will get in and out of bed 5, 7 times a night. I'll no sooner doze off. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. My big tuxedo. 22-pounder. It's hilarious, big. I got this 22-pound tuxedo. And my son has this little 4-pound Abyssinian that's jet black, except it's cool as hell. Has a little blaze under the chin, white, and white armpits. If she lays on her back, she's got white armpits. 4 pounds. And the pain in the ass is we can't get her fixed. because she's coming up on 5 years old. And in order to fix her, she's got to be 5 pounds or more. 4.0. I got a digital scale. 4.0. I weighed her the other day. It's been like 3 months since I weighed her. 4.0. But it's hilarious when she, and I'll tell you what, she's a little bitch. Boots will be laying, minding his own business. She'll come up and give him a smack alongside the head and then take off. And he's like, what the hell hit me? And then she'll wait till he lays down and she'll come back in. Hilarious to watch the two of them. And if she is munching on the dry food and he comes over and sticks his nose over there, she'll smack the shit out of him. And he takes it. He's like, okay. And growl like a goddamn panther. I heard her growling one day. I was like, that's coming out of you? You little dipsy. Looks like a kitten. She don't take no shit. Me and my cats. Well, one's his, one's mine. One of these days, I want to get a Bengal or a serval. Because, first of all, they're fucking huge. And they're smart as can be. I've seen videos of servals where they know how to open a door. They can turn a fucking doorknob. But man, are they loud and expensive. I found a breeder down in southern Ohio. $3,000. I was like, maybe one day I could find one as a rescue. But I'd love to have either one, a serval or a Bengal. Because servals, they'll walk on a leash, which would be cool. Especially if my neighbor's walking this little teacup chihuahua and I come by with a fucking mountain lion. Oh, that's hilarious as hell. I've told this story. This guy is like 7 foot tall. Tall and skinny. He looks like a telephone pole. He's got a teacup chihuahua. His shoe is bigger than the fucking dog. And he walks this thing. And it is the most hilarious thing to see him. Like something you'd see in a circus. That chihuahua could fit in your hand. Here he is, 7 foot tall, walking that little itty bitty. It looks like a goddamn guinea pig. Actually, a guinea pig would be bigger than that goddamn dog. It is fucking hilarious. Every night. There he is, walking his little itty bitty fart in the wind. Speaking of fart in the wind, I think it's time to fart in the wind our outro. Cookies are calling me. Okay, come on. Don't screw up now. Outro time. Here we go. We know where, right here, WDWL TV, 7 p.m. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your evening. And welcome to our new member here in the chat. I hope you're still around, at least to hear me say thank you. And we will meet again here tomorrow night. And with that, find my clicker here. And see ya.